Hey, sports fans, Louis Diamond back in the sunshiny capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. We are live with BettorCenter, and this is where we will daily channel the coincidence fairy to get us plenty of statistical information to gather, so maybe we can capitalize on all that information and turn it into some lifeless packages that we get to have our fun tickets with. So if that made any sense to you, you're paying attention. Most people don't. So, but let's get started right at the top of the game going. We've got some early games today going off 12:10 Eastern, 3:10 Pacific time, and that, or 3:10 Eastern, 12:10 Pacific time, and that is going to be with the Washington Nationals. And Strasburg on the mound, playing the Dodgers. Kershaw on the mound. So we got a couple big horses ready to go out there and pitch a big game here today. So, and the way this game has opened up, $1.65 for Kershaw, steamed up to $1.70. The total, we've seen an opener at overnight at 7, but that wasn't out there hanging too long. Opener this morning, 6.5, now steamed to 6.5 under $1.20. Washington comes in 21-11 on the road, and they're doing a great job right now. 7 out of their last 8, but will the Dodgers avoid getting swept here? Is a big question. Strasburg 40-11 his last 51 starts, so the Dodgers will have their hands full, and the Nets are 7-2. When their opponent scores or allows 2 runs or less in the previous game. And Strasburg, when he goes on the road, 23-8. So the Nats bringing a lot to the table today. Dodgers, they bring a lot as well. Kershaw, stud, 21-10 at home for the Dodgers, 36-15 if we go back to last year, their last 51. But right now, a little cold, 2-5. So if they're gold, if they're having a cold, who's going to make them better? Kershaw, 43-12 his last 55 starts for the Dodgers. Going to be tough to lay the $1.70 with Kershaw. Actually got to feel there's some value with Strasburg, but really he has not done well against the Dodgers, as Kershaw 1-4 his last 5 starts versus the Dodgers. The under is 6-1 for the Dodgers, the last 7 overall. And the Nats are 31-15-5, their last 51 road games versus a lefty to the under as well. So we definitely see a little bit of undering going in this game. And 7-3-1 for Strasburg. His last 11 starts have gone under. But Kershaw at home, 6-2 to the over his last 8 home starts. 12-1 for Kershaw versus the Nats. So you see why you're laying that big price. But I'm going to leave this one alone. I'm just going to move us right on to the next game. Should be a good game for us to enjoy here today on an early bill. So next game on the board is going to face the Cleveland Indians and the Colorado Rockies. And that current line is, well, the game opens up with Cleveland minus $1.25. And now it is down to $1.10, so early steam on Colorado from the overnight line. The line you're seeing there is an overnight line, and then you get a opening line. So usually when you see the opening line on these boards, they don't show you what the overnight line was, and that's really where you want to see a lot of the steam happening, because you can only get a nickel a game on these overnights with most of the books. So they're out there, the sharp guys are out there pounding. So anyways, let's get back to the Cleveland Indians and the Colorado Rockies. The game opens up, like I said, as high as $1.25 for Cleveland and down to right now $1.10. So early steam on Colorado. And Colorado, the total is now 10.5. We've seen it as high as 11.5 on the overnight line, and down to 10.5. Couple 11 unders. Well, actually, there's 11 unders, so it went from 10.5 back to 11.5, down to 10.5, back to 11. So a lot of movement on this game. And Cleveland comes in 5-2 their last 7 road games versus a lefty. But 3-9 their last 12 interleague road games versus a lefty. So strange stat there. 1-6 on the road versus a lefty in their last 7. Bauer's 4-1 for the Indians, his last 5 starts, but Indians they don't do well versus the interleague. 0-4 for Bauer, his last 4 starts in the interleague. Rockies, they're definitely hot right now, 4 of the last 5, but interleague issues with them, as we talked about yesterday, as they're 32-72. So Rockies come in with a 7-2 record for Freeland's last 9 starts, and the under. You can see why you see a little bit of a steam with the under, but you kind of saw the steam yesterday with the under, but the game trickled over. The under is 8-1 for the Indians versus a lefty on the road. 26-1, 20 unders, 6 overs, and 1 push. The last 27 versus a left-handed starter. And on the road for the Indians, 25-10-4 to the under. So you can see the steam on the under. Bauer shows you some under numbers. He's 11-3 to the under his last 14 interleague starts. But the Rockies, they go over versus a righty in the interleague, 27-9-3. But that's about it for the over numbers there. Freeland's 5 straight unders at home, 8-2-1. His last 11 have gone under as well, and 5-2-1 for the under in Colorado when these 2 teams play. But you got an over umpire tonight in Jim Wolf, 33-14-5. His last 52 behind home plate have gone to the over. So a little steam on the under, but I'm leery of this game all around, so I won't have any action in this game. So let's get ourselves over to the next game on the board. Another early play going up at 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 Pacific Time. The Blue Jays travel again to the A's. Liriano is on the mound. He opens up $1.15, and the total is 8.5 over on the overnight. We got some steam on Oakland. I see him as high as around $1.05 right now on the A's. And the total has certainly got some over steam going on as it's up to 9 pretty much across the board. The only 8 I see is minus $1.35 over at bookmaker.net. Blue Jays 4 straight wins in Liriano's last 4 starts. And 1-4, though, when he's gone on the road. A's, they do a good job, as we talked about, versus the left-handed pitchers. 7-1 their last 8 home games. 16-7 their last 23 home games. 7-1 is against lefties at home, so they do a great job there. Cotton, though, 1-5 his last 5 starts. So not anything to back there. Toronto comes in some small unders here. 3-0-1 in their last 4 overall. 3-1-1 on the road. And 11-5 in Liriano's last 16 overall. But the A's are going over at home, 6-2-1. And I'm not finding much on this game either. The over's 4-1 in Seagulls' last 5 games behind home plate. Again, another game, not a lot for you there in the early action as far as the side to be taken. Next game on the board. It's going to feature the Boston Red Sox, and they have Porcello on the mound. And they are playing the Yankees. We talked about a nice, great series, and it's looking to brew up that way. Sabathia opens up $1.05 favorite. He's gotten some steam. He's up to $1.20, $1.15. Actually went up to $1.20. Now he's a little bit out to $1.15. Total opens up 9.5 under. It's been steamed down to 9. So there is some play on the under. And, you know, this series, Yankees, a few years back, Boston, dead over. Then they go to dead under. And right now, getting a little steam on the under. 11-4 for the Red Sox their last 15 games. 5-2 on the road. Porcello's 7-3 on the road. But he's 3-7 his last 10 starts. Yankees come in 20-8 their last 28 home games versus a righty. And 7-3 their last 10 overall versus a righty. And Sabathia comes in with a stellar number of 7 straight wins at home. So you can see why they got a little bit of steam there on Sabathia. The total 5 out of the last 6 versus a lefty have gone over for the Red Sox. But lately, then it flips over the road games versus a lefty. Now 20-9 to the under. And if you look at the Red Sox, recently on the road. 13-9 to the over, 5-2 for Porcello to the over his last 7 road starts. So I'm thinking a little bit of an edge for an over on that. But Yankees come in with Sabathia at home, 15-6-2 to the under. So and 4-1 his last 5 starts overall to the under as well. So I definitely feel some mixed emotions. Not too much action in this game. Red Sox 1-5 the last 6 games. Another game I'm going to pass away with the action, and I'm just going to move on to the next game. And today is a little bit different on this game, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, as the Pirates are maybe a nice little dog here today. I don't know. We had Baltimore yesterday. We got lucky to get them in the comeback, win it 6-5, so it turned out to be a nice winner, but most of that was pretty much for the pitching. And the total, the line on the game opens up with Miley minus $1.45 for Baltimore, up to $1.50. Total goes from 9.5 under to 9, so a little steam on the under. And the Pirates 0-4 their last 4 interleague games on the road. And Cool is a cold 2-10 his last 10 starts, and 0-5 on the road. While the Orioles come in with the good numbers that they had yesterday, 38-13 their last 51 interleague home games, 23-10 their last 33 home games. So it's tough to bet against Baltimore at home with a team like Pittsburgh right now who hasn't been doing much. The total is 6-1 to the over for the Pirates on the road, 4-1 their last 5 overall, and the under, though, is 5-1 for Cool on the road. Baltimore, you usually get some good under numbers at home, 44-20 to the under their last 66 games at home, but 4 straight overs. But once again, last night was the first meeting since 2014. So another game that's given me a stalemate. But that is going to be the last of the stalemates, because I'm seeing some action in the next game on the board. I think we got a nice reason to be betting on the Chicago White Sox and Tampa Bay game. Tampa Bay opens up $1.63 favorite. They're steamed up to $1.70. The Pelfrey is on the mound for the White Sox. The total 8.5 over -15. The over gets a small little steam at now it's up to minus $1.20, and I'm even seeing $1.25 now. So a little bit of steam there. Hudson is 11-4 to the over behind home plate. So once right out of the gate, we have an umpire here that is an over umpire. So looking for us here. The White Sox 1-5 their last 6 overall, 1-6 their last 7 on the road. The Rays 0-4 their last 4 overall. Neither team wants to win, but the White Sox 9-2 to the over on the road versus a righty. 4-1 to the over their last 5 road games. Tampa Bay, unfortunately, 6 straight home unders, but 6-2 to the over their last 8 overall. So now they're starting to hit the ball a little bit. But the big head-to-head meeting here, these two teams, when they get together, under 36-17-1 the last 54 meetings. So I'm going to take a small little stab at this one and roll with that head-to-head trend and play a small little one-unit play on the Tampa Bay and the Chicago White Sox under. And we're going to save the bigger plays for the next game on the board. And this one will be an executive game for me today. It was an executive game for us yesterday. We hit it nicely, and let's do it again today. And that's going to be with the St. Louis Cardinals. And they are traveling to the Cincinnati Reds. They're still there in Cincinnati. Lynn on the mound for the Cardinals. Arroyo on the mound for the Reds. Lynn opens up $1.25 favorite, steamed up to $1.30. Total opens up 9.5 under, -15. Now we got a 10 across the board. So I'm certainly on with the steam here today. Going to be playing this game over again here today. But first, let's take a look at the side. Cardinals 6 straight road losses, 5 straight losses overall. Lynn 4 straight losses on the mound. Reds come in 8-2 at home when they face a team with a losing record, and Arroyo 4-1 his last 5 home starts. So certainly a little bit of a reason to like Cincinnati there. But the total is the play. Even though the Cardinals are 5-2, their last 7 overall, they showed last night they're ready to hit. They're ready to get themselves involved in high-scoring ball games. 12-5 to the over on the road versus a righty for the Cardinals. 19-9 to the over. Their last 28 versus a right-handed starter. Lynn 5-2 to the over his last 7 starts overall. So I definitely see a little bit a reason to keep riding with this over. 7-3 to the over for the Reds, their last 10 home games. 4-1 to the over for Arroyo, his last 5 home starts. And 13-5-1 his last 19 overall to the over. And when he faces the Cardinals, he's gone over 5 straight times. And when Lynn faces the Reds, 11-5 to the over their last 15 starts. And 8-3-1 his last 12 starts versus the Reds for the over for Lynn. So I definitely see some over. We got a little bit of an over action with Marquez behind the plate tonight. 6 straight overs. Well, he has been umping. So definitely looking for the over here tonight. 9.5. Even if you see the 10, we'll probably still be playing that one. And we're also going to be going to another play here that we're going to be playing that we played yesterday. Same game again here today. Looking to hit that one for another winner, and that's going to be the Los Angeles Angels playing the Detroit Tigers. Yesterday we had that one for a nice under. It was an easy, well, it was kind of an easy winner. Made you sweat a little bit at the end. I think you got another solid winner here today. Meyer on the mound for the Angels. Farmer on the mound for the Tigers. Farmer makes me a little bit nervous playing him under, but total opens up 10 under. And now minus 20. Now it's down to 10 under, minus 30, 35, or 9.5 over, minus 25. Angels 22-45 their last 67 road games versus a righty. 3-7 their last 10 versus a righty. So they have not hit a righty. They really haven't done well on the road at all, the Angels. Tigers 4 out of their last 5. They've won. Farmer 1 out of his last 7. He's only won. So not a reason to be playing Farmer. The Angels, though, the under. 20 unders, 7 overs the last 27 road games versus a team with a winning record, 22-8 their last 30 versus a righty. 35-16-1 for the Angels their last 52 road games. Unfortunately, Meyer, 4 straight overs. 6 out of 2 their last 7 overall. And 8-1 to the over for Farmer. So a couple over pitchers, which is why you got the higher number. But I'll still look for these 2 teams that haven't done a good job hitting against each other to do the same, because 6 straight unders in Detroit, 19-7 the last 26 meetings. So I will be playing this as another 2-unit Emerald play. The under with the Angels and the Tigers, 10 if you can get it. Next play on the board is another play, and this one is going back to the executive realm. It was our executive play that we missed yesterday. But I'm coming back with it again today, and as you'll see, I play series bets many times. I'm not going to say all the time, but we're going to be on this series again, even though these guys have kicked me in the butt a little bit. Head-to-head, they have gone under recently. Phillies and the Braves. And Eichhoff on the mound for the Phillies. Boltonwitz on the mound for the Braves. Boltonwitz opens up $1.30, a little steam to 35. 9.5 under was the total. Steamed under to 9. Phillies come in 16-36 on the road. 10-26 their last 36 overall. 6-23 versus a right-handed starter. So Phillies always looking to bet against them. We talk about that, but hasn't been the right team here with the Braves. But Eichhoff 1-6 his last 7. 0-7 his last 7 on the road. So Phillies don't get the job done at all with him. The Braves 2-5, their last 7 overall. Boltonwitz 3-10, his last starts. 2 teams they don't want to win. I don't want to bet them. The over, though, has been money for Philly in the road games. 18-7-1, 5-2 their last 7 overall. And Eichhoff 5-2 to the over on the road. So got some nice numbers with it today. 9-4-1 for the Braves. We know that they're over no matter almost anywhere you look at them. That's overall their last 14, their last 51 at home, 33-16-2 to the over. Boltmanwitz on the mound, 7-2 to the over at home, 15-6 overall. Phillies have won the last 5 straight, and they are a dog today, so there might be a little value there. And the under has gone 5 out of the last 6, which is a little frustrating because, as you know, we've been playing that over. But I'm still riding with the over here today. I got the line at 9, and I see it going over the number today with the Phillies and the Braves. And I also see another over with that great team that we keep playing over every night, and that is the next game on the board. The New York Mets traveling to the Texas Rangers. Wheeler on the mound for the Mets. Darvish on the mound for the Rangers. Darvish opens up $1.50, bet up to $1.55. Total opens up 9, and like I said yesterday, up to 9.5. So you need to get on them Mets overs during the overnights when you can, because you're going to get that good line. The Mets 6-2 right now. Their last 8 interleague games, but 2-7 on the road versus a righty. 2-8 their last 10 road games. 1-5 their last 6 overall. No reason to back them. 1-4 the last 5 home games for the Rangers. But Darvish is 6-2 his last 8 starts, and the Rangers have won 8 straight interleague ball games. Small reason to back a favorite there, $1.50. I don't want to back it, laying $1.50. Let's get back to this over, though, which I do want to back. And I want to back them every day, and that's those Mets. 14-4-3, their last 21 road games to the over versus a righty. 35-11-8 overall to the over. 34-15-7 versus a righty to the over. Wheeler, 3-0-1. 7-1-2 his last 10 starts. 3-0-1 on the road. Rangers, 7-1 to the over at home versus a righty. 5-1-1 overall. 8-2-1 interleague games versus a righty. Bad spot here. Darvish, 5-0-1. His last 6 starts have gone under. So the only soft spot in this matchup for the under is that. Other than that, we got to still stick with that as an executive play, a 10-unit play. The New York Mets and the Texas Rangers over the 9.5 runs. Either way, I'm still on it, and looking for that to be a nice solid winner for us here today. Next game on the board will be the Marlins and the Cubs. Lackey on the mound for the Cubs. Urena on the mound for the Marlins. $1.85 opener for Lackey. Bet up to $2.05. 8.5 is the total. Bet up to 9 over. -25. But the under is 4-1-1 for Newark, his last 6 games behind home plate. Miami, 7-3, their last 10 games overall. 10-22, though, their last 32 versus a right-hander. So even though they're a little bit warm, they haven't been a team you've been wanting to back going into that little warmth that they have. 1-4 on the road, but Urena's a little sweet spot for him as he's 4-1 his last 5 road starts. Cubs 5 straight wins, 52-22 at home, 5-2 in Lackey's 7 starts. So now's not the time to back those Marlins, even though they are 7-3. The over was something I wanted to back early, but the Cubs have been on an under string as they are 9-3 to the under their last 12 overall, even though they've been an over home team, 18-7-1 their last 26 home games. So time to leave that alone. In fact, against the righty, 9-1 to the under for the Cubs. So got to leave that total alone. You got to definitely leave Miami alone because the Cubs 7 straight wins, 7 straight wins in Chicago, 5 straight overall. And the total today, the umpire is going to give you a little bit of an edge for the over, 23-9-1 for Walcott. His last 33 games behind home plate have gone over. Next game on the board, San Francisco Giants, Block on the mound, facing the Milwaukee Brewers and Nelson on the mound. Nelson opens up a $1.35 favorite, and he has been steamed down to $1.25, so a little more money once again on the Giants because we know the Giants have dominated Milwaukee. The Milwaukee wins last night. And Giants 2-6, their last 8 overall. And Nelson is 9-23, his last 32 starts. No reason to back either side of these teams here today. The over has been a little bit of a you got a little bit of numbers as the Brewers 8-3 versus a lefty to the over, but Nelson is the one, and the Milwaukee's been an over team at home, but not with Nelson on the mound. 12-5-2. His last 9 games at home have gone under. The Giants, as I said, dominating the series, 16-6 the last 22 meetings, 6-2 in Milwaukee. 3-1-1 behind the plate today to the over for Woodrings, and not seeing a reason to be backing either side of these two teams today. So let's move on to the next game, which will be the Houston Astros playing the Kansas City Royals. Keuchel on the mound for the Astros. $1.65 favorite. Opener, $1.70 now, current. Royals, Vargas on the mound, left-handed pitcher. 8.5 is the total on the game. Astros had a nice lead last night, and they blew it, and that would have tied a nice parlay yesterday because we would have hit the Cubs, the Astros, and the D-backs, those three. So, but unfortunately, that didn't get there. But Astros, you got to figure out a way to back them again today. 38-13 overall, 5-1 on the road versus a lefty, so that's not a weak spot for him against a lefty. Keuchel 7 straight on the road, 52-25 overall. Royals 1-5 at home versus a lefty. But Vargas 11-2 at home his last 13 home starts. So just a small little spot to find a way to get the Astros in there again. But Vargas is a reason to not find a big play on the Astros here today. The over for the Astros, 8-2-3 on the road, the last 13. Royals versus a lefty at home, 11-5 to the over. But that's their only sweet spot because Vargas, 9-1 to the under at home, 19-7 his last 26 overall under. So not seeing much again in this game. You got an over umpire today, 15-5-1 for Eddings to the over his last 21 games behind the plate. So we'll pass on this one, and we'll roll back over to those D-backs. So definitely want to figure out a way to tie them into a little Parlucci here today with Greinke on the mound. He's opens $1.90. Didn't move too much. Really hasn't moved up much at all. The total opens up 8.5. We got a little steam on the over. I'm going to steam that baby over again here today. But before we get into that, let's talk about the Padres. 5-2 their last 7 versus a righty. And 21-49 on the road. So like we said yesterday, always want to find a way to bet against them. Perdomo, 2-6, his last 8 on the road. His last 8 overall, 1-5, his last 5 on the road. So still good reasons to bet against San Diego. Diamondbacks, we still got some great reasons. They're a great home team. We want to bet them at home, 35-16 with Greinke. So we got the pitching tonight, 6-1, his last 7. Home starts, 5-1, his last 6 starts overall. Hot now, hot at home. 14-3, his last 17 when he faces a weak team with a losing record. And after a quality start, he's 16-7. So we got the pitching there again tonight. You definitely want to find a way to tie up Arizona. And you definitely want to find a way to tie it up with the over because these two teams, they get together and they have fireworks, 35-17-1, the last 53 meetings. So the head-to-head meetings mean a lot more, guys, when we got divisional matchups when these teams play so often. So they get back in that environment. It's like it's, they're reliving the magic all over again. So I'm on the over here today. Total's 8.5. I think you might be able to get a 9, and you might be able to get it before it gets to 9. I think it might hit 9 here before the game has its opening pitch. Fagan behind the plate, 4 straight overs in this matchup. Behind the plate this season, his last 4 games. Next game on the board, Minnesota Twins. They're playing the Seattle Mariners. Gallardo on the mound versus Mihi for the Twinkies. $1.31 favorite for Minnesota, or Seattle as the opener, but they're steaming Minnesota down to $1.10. Total went from 9.5 under to 9.5 over, and even seeing a trickle of a 10 out there. So they're steaming it over. Twins 13-3 on the road versus a righty. 19-7 on the road overall, so you're always looking to play the Twins on the road in a nice underdog situation. 4 straight wins, though, for the Mariners at home. But Gallardo, 3-8. His last 11 starts, 1-5 at home, so you can see why they're steaming the Twins. Why are they steaming the over? 6-2-1, the last 9 to the over for Minnesota, but 15-7-1 to the under on the road versus a right-handed pitcher. And Mejia's last 6 starts, 4-1-1 to the under. Same record the opposite way for Seattle. 3-1-1 to the over, their last 5 overall. And at home versus a lefty, that game goes over, 39-18. And Gallardo, 3-1-1 to the over, his last 5 starts overall. 4 straight overs for these two teams in Seattle. And Isagana is over 4 out of his last 5 games behind the plate. So you definitely see some steam on the over. I think you've missed a train already, especially if you got to go up to the 10. I will be leaving that game alone as well. So, but that's the last game on the board. So let's take a look at what the plays are again here today as we just do a little bit of a recap. I passed up my lines here right now. So today's games, today's picks: Cincinnati, St. Louis, executive game, over 9.5, 10-unit play. Philadelphia, Atlanta, over 9, another 10-unit executive play. San Diego and Arizona, over 8.5, another 10-unit executive play. And the New York Mets and Texas Rangers, over 9.5, another 10-unit executive play. 4 solid plays, 4 solid overs, all 10-unit plays. Now, when we go to the Red Hot picks today, we have 1 2-unit play, and that is going to be, the 3-unit play, which was a 2-unit play yesterday. We're bumping it up to a 3-unit play, and that is going to be the Angels and the Tigers to go under the 10, maybe 9.5. I'll still be rolling with it. So those are your plays there for today. Thanks for watching BettorCenter Live. If you're watching us on replay, you'll usually catch us live, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, breaking down the games and trying to get this information out to you well before the games start. This is Louis Diamond. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow on BettorCenter Live.